In today's video, I'm going to walk you guys through step by step how to market to things like apartment complex owners, self-storage facilities, mobile home parks, basically the sexy commercial deals. Let's dive right in. Now, the whole reason I'm doing this video is one of you guys asked for it. Last week, we did a video, actually 2 weeks ago, we did a video on how to find duplexes, triplexes, and quads and how to market to them. And one of the questions I got was, well, what if I want bigger than 4 units? How do I do that? Instead of like pushing you to a course or something, I figured we'd just shoot a quick training, walking you through step by step, where I'd get the data, what kind of pieces I'd send them. So let's dive right in. So when it comes to larger multifamily or commercial data, unfortunately, where we're getting our residential data from ends up leaving a little bit to be desired. Now, when it comes to like residential data, I've done videos on this before, but I'm using ListSource, I'm using Deal Machine, and I'm using PropStream as my data providers. When it comes to properties over 4 units, though, you need something more specialized. There are really 3 options. The first one is CoStar. They tend to be more focused to like 50 units plus. Last I checked, they were pretty expensive. It was like $5,000 a year just for the data in like one major metro. And they tend to be really focused on like the 50 plus unit type assets. The second option, which is what I used to use in the past, was something called Yardi Matrix Express. I've got beef with Yardi. I tried re-signing up with them, and they were like, we saw a YouTube video where you talk about scraping. You never scraped our data, but we won't let you sign back up because of that. So, fuck them. Which led me to what I use now, which is Reonomy, Reonomy. I don't know how you pronounce it. It's kind of a weird word, but they are the commercial data provider that we've been using now for the past several years. They're who we recommend in CCF, which is our kind of paid mastermind community. I've personally pulled over 50 units out of their data, so I'm a big fan. Now, with them, I want to say they're like $349 a month. This is their homepage. It's just reonomy.com. They have like a free trial. Last time when I signed up, which keep in mind this was a couple years ago, it was a little weird. It was like you had to like book a demo and then they'd tell you the price and then they'd give you access. I personally hate signing up for demos. I'm just like, take my money, give me access, let me figure it out, right? I don't want to sit on an hour-long Zoom. Maybe they fixed that, maybe they haven't, but it's worth it. Let me show you what this looks like once you're on the inside. Now, just to be clear, I do not have an affiliate relationship with them. So if you go to them and tell them like I sent you or anything, they're not paying me. This is simply a tool that I use, that I've made money off of, that my clients have made a lot of money off of. So I'm sharing it with you guys, honestly, just to help you guys. So if you've used PropStream or something similar, honestly, the flow's not that far different. So you're going to start by typing the area that you're looking in. So let's say I'm looking in San Diego. It'll pull up kind of your map search here, and then we have all of these filters. So typically I'd recommend starting by property type, and I'd always go the see all property type because it gets more and more detailed. This is where it really comes down to like, what are you trying to find? Go hunting, right? I'm actually helping a church in Pennsylvania do this, and we use Reonomy to try to help them find kind of their next building. So literally you would hop in here if you were looking for, say, self-storage. It's 28 self-storage. There you go, right? You can literally click apply and see, all of the places, who owns them, where are they at. One thing that's cool with Reonomy with this stuff is they give you information on the owners and even some things like contact info. So they'll give you phone numbers and emails to try, mailing addresses and all of that. So if you're like a cold caller type person and you're looking for self-storage facilities, might be as simple as throwing it in here, searching, and calling some people. I'm not a big caller, so I can't tell you the accuracy of like their phone numbers and stuff, but I've heard good things from folks that are. Now let's assume that you're looking for something like a larger list than self-storage, because there's only 28 of these in San Diego County. So I'm going to cross that out, and let's say that I'm looking for apartments. So I'm going to come over here to multifamily, and then I can look at things like duplexes. They have all these other options. And then multifamily general is probably where we're wanting to end up. The reason you want to use a different data provider than say like PropStream for the commercial stuff is they're going to have a lot better information on these larger assets than something like Deal Machine, ListSource, or PropStream would. Now, we can see when it comes to multifamily, there's 18,624 of them, right? Pretty large list. So we're going to want to filter that down. You can kind of go through all of these options. So you can get into like year built, lot size, how many units. So let's say I only want to mail places with like 25 units or less. You can see that knocked it down considerably, right? So that's going to cut out like those mega complexes. Typically when I'm looking at commercial type data, I've got like a rough budget in mind. So, I'm probably not going to be in the 10 million plus. Fortunately, not at that level yet. I might be in like the 1 to 5 range, right? And we can see that knocked it down more. Now on houses, I typically don't limit like length of ownership type stuff, but on something like commercial, I would. So I might do something like only give me places that haven't sold in say the past 10 years, right? You can see this list is getting much, much more manageable. They do have this like likely to sell feature. It says their algorithm determines properties they think will sell in the next 2 years. So you can try that if you want, right? See if you get any good luck out of that. You can look at things like debt. On the commercial space, maybe you have cash, like you're looking to 1031 exchange into something. You could look at places that have loans that are coming due, right? So you can look at things like that. Distressed, they have this like CMBS watch list, which is effectively places that they think might be coming up for auction sometime in like the foreseeable future. And then they also have auctions, pre-foreclosures, things of that nature as well. So likely you're going to want to go in here to kind of these different fields and try to narrow this down more than that. Reonomy, I think, allows you to pull out 1,000 records a month at that like $349 a month. So it is more expensive than something like PropStream. But realistically, you're typically casting a much smaller net on these types of assets, right? So chances are you're not going to target the entire city of San Diego, which is huge. You'd go like particular zip codes, neighborhoods, things of that nature, and end up with a much smaller list. Once you have your list, you'd simply use the export tab here, and you'd select what properties you want to export. Like I mentioned, there's that 1,000 limit. You can include all of these fields and then simply tap export to get the data out of Reonomy. So let's talk about what do you do with the data once you have it out. There's 2 products that we use at Ballpoint Marketing that I'd recommend. First one, which we just did a video on the other day, is the apartment postcards. So I'd only use those for apartments because it's literally sell your apartments, right? I wouldn't hit mobile home parks with that, for instance. These are going to be your lowest cost option. Really like these for like your older mom and pop type owners. In fact, when it comes to commercial stuff, that's typically my first target. I go after the individuals, not places that are owned by an LLC. Another product that a lot of people really like is the commercial acquisition mailer. With this, you can tweak it to like any asset type. We've had clients literally 700 letters into a $340K assignment fee. So the cool thing with these commercial deals, there tends to be less competition on them, and there's often the potential for much larger upside than you'd get on just a traditional single family house. If you've followed me for any length of time, you know that typically once we get the data and we do the mailing, Call Porter then live answers all of our calls. The only time I'm going to tell you not to use Call Porter is on this larger commercial stuff. Call Porter really is geared towards like 1 to 4 unit type properties, maybe vacant land, things of that nature. When you're pulling some of these lists, like that self-storage list where there was only 28 people, you want to take that call. Because if like somebody says the wrong thing on a house lead, it's not necessarily the end of the world. Whereas if you've got one of 28 shots and they mess one up, that sucks. Now, I'm fully confident in Call Porter's ability. Literally any deal you've ever seen me talk about that was a 4 unit or smaller, they took the call for. They've taken every call I've had come in since 2017. The only calls we don't send to them that we still take in-house with our acquisitions managers is this larger commercial stuff. If you guys got value out of this video, all I'm going to ask is that you like it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop those down below and I'll get back to them. Never know, you might ask a question and I might shoot a full YouTube video responding to it for you. Thank you guys for taking the time to hang out with us. Again, my name is Ryan Dossey. Hopefully you found this helpful. I'll talk to you guys next time.